Hello, it's Thursday. I let you all vote on what we were going to make this week, and you picked Jackalope. I'll link to the video where I designed him in the description down below, but otherwise, let's get into it. Okay, let's talk about tools and materials. For today's project, you're going to need 8 ply, 100% acrylic yarn in a couple of different colours. So for me, I've chosen a main colour for my Jackalope, a colour for his antlers, and a colour for his tail. You're also going to need a pair of 20mm safety eyes, your 3.5mm hook, pins and needles, scissors, and some stuffing. In addition to this, you might want to consider having an alternate colour on hand for the tips of his ears and his toes, as well as having a wire slicker brush handy so that you can make his tail all fuzzy like I have with mine here. So a written version will be listed on Etsy. My patrons do already have a version of this pattern, but the nicer formatted one will also be uploaded there. And I will leave links to both in the description down below for anyone who's interested. Okay, so we are going to start today by making the head and body nugget. So to do that, we start in the middle of the face and we're going to work up the head. Now, I think the original video made this look a little bit like witchcraft, but it's not as complicated as it looks. So I'm going to be grabbing my main body color and we are going to start with a magic ring of 6. Now, if you prefer not to use a magic ring for any reason, you can also chain 2 and then work 6 stitches into the first chain you made. That's perfectly fine. We're then going to work 6 increases to bring our round up to 12. The next 3 rows have a lot of instructions in them, but they're not as complicated as they look. So row 3 is 2 single crochet, and then 2 repeats of 3 single crochet into the same stitch, and then a single crochet. So there's our first repeat, and we do that again. And then we have 2 repeats of a single crochet and then 3 single crochet all into the same stitch. So that's kind of making it the mirror image of the first half of the row. There's our first one. We're going to do that again. We then have 2 single crochet to get us back to the start of our row. Now you can feel free to keep a stitch marker in the first stitch of your row as you work around, which will help you kind of keep track of what stitch count you're up to. In row 4, we start with an increase, then 2 single crochet, 3 single crochet into the same stitch, three single crochet, three single crochet into the same stitch, 4 single crochet, three single crochet into the same stitch, three single crochet, 3 single crochet into the same stitch, then 2 single crochet, and an increase into our starting stitch. So at the end of row 4, we have kind of a wonky pentagon square type shape. Row 5 is very similar again. So we work a single crochet, an increase, 3 single crochet, 3 single crochet into the same stitch, 5 single crochet, 3 single crochet into the same stitch, 6 single crochet, 3 single crochet into the same stitch, 5 single crochet again. Then a final 3 single crochet into the same stitch. 3 single crochet. An increase. And then a single crochet into the last stitch of the round. Now that should leave you with 40 stitches in total. And I promise that this shape is going to form the cheeks. It does cheek. So we are now going to work 5 rows of 40 single crochet into each row for a combined total of 200 stitches. Now the reason I mentioned the combined stitch totals is just because sometimes I find it easier to count to 200 once than to try to keep count of how many times I've counted to 40. So there we are at the end of row 20. For row 11, we work 13 single crochet. We're then going to single crochet 3 together. So what that means is we're going to decrease over 3 stitches. I work mine by inserting my hook through the front loop only of the next 3 stitches, yarning over and pulling up a loop through all 3. I then just yarn over and pull through both loops to complete my stitch. With that done, we're going to work 6 single crochet. And then another single crochet 3 together. It's then 15 single crochet back to the start of our row, leaving you with 36 stitches in your round. So that's the end of row 11, and where we did those decreases in that round, you should start to see 2 slight cheek formations. So that is the bottom of our bunny's head. Row 12 is 12 single crochet around. And I'll openly admit that my jackalope is way more bunny with antlers than it is jackalope, which is supposed to be more like a hare. Then single crochet 3 together, 4 single crochet, and then another single crochet 3 together. Then 14 single crochet back to the start of our row. We start with 3 decreases. 1, 2, 3. Then 6 single crochet. A decrease. 4 single crochet. Another decrease, 6 single crochet, and then 3 decreases to get us back to our starting point. So at this point you should have 24 stitches in your round. In row 14 we start with 2 decreases, 6 single crochet, 4 increases, and I am working invisible increases and decreases for this, but regular increases and decreases would be fine. Six single crochet, then 2 decreases to get us back to the start of our row. You should still have 24 stitches in your round, but you'll note that our opening is now sort of bending slightly downwards because we're decreasing at the top and increasing at the bottom. Row 15 starts with 9 single crochet. Then 6 increases. And that's a lot of stitches to pack into a relatively small area, so don't worry if it's a little bit wrinkly. And then 9 single crochet back to the start of your row. So that is what we currently look like. It's almost a nice little French bulldog base as well, I think. We are now going to work 5 rows of 30 single crochet around for a combined total of 150 stitches. So there we are at the end of row 20. And now is as good a time as any for us to insert our eyes. So looking at our piece from the side, you'll note that we have sort of a piece that curves downwards, and then we have sort of more of a gradual slope. So the gradual slope is the top of the head, and this is the front of the chest, which means that looking at the part of the head above the front of the chest, those are our 2 little chubby cheeks. They don't have a lot of definition at this point, we fix that later, which means that your head goes up this way. So you want your eyes on either side. My eyes, I insert into row 6, and I'm just going to literally plonk them in roughly on either side of the head at row 6 to get started. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So with them positioned in row 6, I'm now going to count to row 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can check the distance apart they are by counting 13 stitches along row 4 from one eye to the other. 13. So I can tell mine are probably a little far apart. I'm just going to move mine up a bit. Now, if that doesn't make any sense to you, as long as they're roughly equal on both sides of the head, you're going to be fine here. 13, that's roughly 13. So that is where I'm going to insert mine today. And I'm just going to clip my backs on. There's a sad lack of clicky noises with these ones here. Oh well. That wasn't too bad. So that's where my eyes are at this point. We are now going to carry on into row 21. So we're going to work 4 repeats of 2 single crochet and then an increase. That's our first one. We're going to work that 3 more times. We're then going to work 14 single crochet, an increase, 2 single crochet, and then an increase into the last stitch of your round. And this should leave you with 36 stitches. In row 22, we're going to work 4 repeats of 2 single crochet, an increase, and then a single crochet. So that's our first one, and we're going to do that 3 more times. Then 15 single crochet around, an increase, 3 single crochet, and then an increase into the final stitch to bring your round to 42 stitches. Row 23 is 4 repeats of 2 single crochet, an increase, and then 2 single crochet. So that's our first one, and we're going to repeat that 3 more times. This is really one of those rows you just kind of have to take one step at a time. We're then going to work 3 repeats of 2 single crochet and then a decrease. So there's our first one. We're going to do that twice more. Finally, we're going to work 2 repeats of 4 single crochet and then an increase. And at this point, you should have 45 stitches in your round. And a-do, hooray! So our jackalope is now at its widest point. So we're going to start narrowing off into the butt. Row 24 starts with 24 single crochet. We're then going to work 3 repeats of a single crochet and then a decrease. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then 12 single crochet back to the start of our round, leaving you with 42 stitches. Row 25 starts with 24 single crochet again. Then 3 repeats of a single crochet and then a decrease. 1, 2, 3. See how those are working to close off the front of the chest? Yours should be hitting in the same spot as mine are. And then we finish the row with 9 single crochet back to the start. Leaving you with 39 stitches in your round. Row 26 starts again with 24 single crochet. And then 3 decreases. 1, 2, 3. And then 9 single crochet back to our starting point, leaving you with 36 stitches in your round. Now, row 27 for a change starts with 23 single crochet. Then 3 decreases. 1, 2, 3. And then 7 single crochet back to your starting point, leaving you with 33 stitches in your round. That's us at the end of row 27. Row 28 is 2 repeats of 4 single crochet, an increase, and then 2 single crochet. So that's our first one, and we're going to do that again. We're then going to work 9 single crochet, a single crochet 3 together, and then 7 single crochet back to our starting point, leaving us once again with 33 stitches. Row 29 is 2 repeats of 5 single crochet, an increase, and then a single crochet. So that's our first repeat, and we're going to do that again. We're then going to work 10 single crochet, a single crochet 3 together, and then 6 single crochet back to our starting point, leaving you once again with 33 stitches in your round. In row 30, we're going to start with 24 single crochet, then 3 decreases, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 single crochet back to the start of your round, leaving you with 30 stitches. Our rows will start looking really normal from this point onwards. Row 31 is 6 repeats of 3 single crochet, and then a decrease. So there's our first one, and we're going to do that 5 more times to bring our row count down to 24. And at this point, we're going to stop and stuff our bunny. Now, I do recommend tearing your stuffing up into smaller puffs rather than just cramming large handfuls in. Particularly if you're working with cheaper stuffing. I have a tendency to use cheap pillows and they require the tearing treatment, whereas like actual hobby fill tends to be a lot softer and less clumpy. And then we're going to stuff. Now I'm going to start with the head filling the cheeks. And I want you to be careful not to overstuff the head. You can stuff it. You don't need to leave open gaps in there or anything like that, but just don't overstuff it. It should have some squish to it. So see how mine's got some squish to it? And then basically what we're going to do is pull the eyes in and poke the lip up. As long as you can make those 3 prods relatively easily on yours, your stuffing is fine. And then I'm just going to stuff the rest of the body. And I am stuffing all the way up to the opening. And then as we complete the next few rows, I want you to just add any additional stuffing that yours needs as we go. So that's as far as I'm stuffing mine for now, and I will add stuffing as I need to. Row 32 is 6 repeats of 2 single crochet and then a decrease. So there's our first one, and we're going to repeat that 5 more times to bring our row down to 18. Then row 33 is 6 repeats of a single crochet and then a decrease to bring our row count down to 12. So this is the last call for adding stuffing, and I am going to add just a little bit more. And then row 34, our final row, is 6 decreases around. And finish off. Now this will leave you with a little opening at the end. We're just going to take our remaining yarn and pull it through the front loops of the remaining stitches. Just like so. And then if you pull it, it closes it off like a little drawstring bag. And then you can just tuck that end down inside your bunny. And the little opening is gone. So there is the base piece for our jackalope. And before we go any further, we are going to make the sculptural, I use that term very loosely, adjustments to the face that makes it a little bit more bunny. So I would like you to grab a needle, and honestly a straight one is probably straight into my thumb. Straight one is probably easier for this, but I can't find mine at the moment. So I'm going to just be making do. And I want you to thread it with some yarn that matches the color of your bunny. So the first thing we're going to do is pull these eyes in a little bit, just because that gives him an instantly cuter look. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to thread my needle in through the top of the head and then out on the inner corner of this eye. Like so. And I'm going to work a little tiny stitch there, which is going to lock our yarn in place. So that just means that when I pull it, it doesn't pull out. Then I'm going to thread my needle back into my rabbit's head about like in the middle on the inner edge of that eye. And I want to thread it out on approximately the same place on the other eye. So we're going in there. That's my needle. It's surprisingly hard to see on camera. And we're coming out over here. Okay, so now we are all prepped for our magic trick. I am going to squeeze the eyes in to how deep I want them. Then I'm going to pull this yarn strand in between them tight, which will help them hold that position. Then we're just going to work a tiny little stitch on this side to lock that indentation into place. So that's one. You can also do the same thing with the outer edge if you want to pull the eyes in more deeply. But I think I'm going to leave mine the way that they are. So Then we have one more thing to do on this particular bunny, and that is give some form to these cheeks. So what I want you to do is give it a good squidge to even all the stuffing out. Take your finger and poke and work out where you want his lip to be. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm looking at just after row 5. That's where I'm pushing my finger in, and that's where I think I want to pinch in to form my cheeks, because I think that gives him nice, cute, fluffy folds on either side. So what I'm going to do is, having identified that place, thread my needle back in and through to row 5. And I'm going to make a little stitch that's 2 or 3 stitches wide. You're aiming for evenly placed here, but I would like to point out that when I did this on my original, I accidentally did it off to one side, and people still think he's cute. So embrace the imperfections as they happen, if they happen. But we always aim for kind of central. And this time I want you to try and thread it all the way out the top of the head. With my curved needle, it's a bit tricky. I'm just going to go out the eyebrow, and we're going to pull a little to scrunch that little mouth up a bit. So that just adds some real emphasis to those big old bunny cheeks. And of course, lock it into place with another little stitch. Now, if you do this and it comes out crooked and it's bothering you, just do another stitch on the other side to even it out. I kind of like the little slightly crooked look, but I think that's because I had guinea pigs and they always just had grass hanging out one side of their mouth. And trim off. Now you can use this color to add some eyelids if you like at this stage. Again, on the original we have some little eyelids working at the back, and that's just by working stitches over the top of the back of the eye. I think on this one here I'm going to do whites of the eyes instead. Oh, rather than cut that off, let's use this. Working on my scraps. There you go. And so I'm going to add a little bit of white just to the outer edge of this eye. And then try and do the exact same thing on the other side. So there we are. I'm kind of steering more into baby bunny with this one here. Or baby jackalope. Finally, to add just one last detail to the face, I am going to grab some of the color I'm using for my antlers, but you could also just use black for this. And we're going to stitch on a tiny little mouth and nose. And you can use pins to help you work out the points of your cross. Keeping in mind, of course, that I am by no means the best at stitching on details like this. I'd say I'm pretty good with the shaping, but the stitching on the little extra details, you guys, I've seen your work. I've seen it, and it's phenomenal. And so trust your own instincts when it comes to that sort of thing. So there we are. That's my little nose and mouth cross. So with those details added, I am going to pop my body to one side. So next up, we're going to be making the ears. And for these ears, I do want to mention that I'm making mine all in one color today. But if you want to use a contrasting color, start in your contrasting color, and I will let you know when I changed to my regular color if you want your markings exactly the same as these ones. So we are going to start with a magic ring of 6. We're then going to work 3 repeats of a single crochet and then an increase to get us up to 9 stitches around. In row 3, we're going to work 3 repeats of a single crochet, an increase, and then a single crochet. There's our first one, and we're going to work that twice more to bring our row up to 12. Row 4 is 3 repeats of 3 single crochet, and then an increase. So there's our first one. We're going to work 2 more of those to bring our stitch count up to 15. Then row 5 is 3 repeats of 2 single crochet, an increase, and then 2 single crochet. There's our first one, and we're going to repeat that twice more to bring our row count up to 18. Then row 6 is just 18 single crochet around. Row 7 is 8 single crochet, a decrease, and then 8 single crochet back to the start of our row. That should leave your round with 17 single crochet. Then row 8 is 7 single crochet, then a single crochet 3 together, then 7 single crochet back to the start of our row. Now if you're changing colours, change to your new colour in the last stitch of this row. And you should have 15 single crochet in your round. Row 9 is 6 single crochet, a single crochet 3 together, and then 6 single crochet, row 10 is 5 single crochet, a single crochet 3 together, and then 5 single crochet back to the start of your round. Row 11 is 4 single crochet, a single crochet 3 together, and then 4 single crochet back to the start of our round. And that should leave you with 9 stitches in your round, and we're going to work 2 rows of 9 single crochet for a combined total of 18 stitches. Finish off. Now you'll note that I haven't put any stuffing in here, and I'm not going to. And I'm also not going to close off this opening, we're just going to leave it the way that it is. So that is our little ear, and you'll note that we've got kind of a side that curves in, that's the underside. And I want you to pinch to flatten that ear out, and then you can make it a left or right ear just by curving it around your thumb. That's one little ear, and you are of course going to need 2 of them. Pop those to one side. Now I thought about leaving this piece to last in case people are just literally here for the bunny, but we're not. We're gonna work top to tail, so we're going to be making the antlers next. I'm going to be working mine in my dark browns. So that's the same dark brown I used to stitch on the mouth. And we are going to be starting with a magic ring of 6. We're then going to work 4 rows of 6 single crochet for a combined total of 24 stitches. Leaving you with a little nub. Now, row 6 is kind of optional. So as you can see here, my antlers do have kind of a little secondary prong to them, which I believe is kind of more similar to the reindeer than the traditional antelope jackalope. If you want just the long straight prong, skip row 6. If you want the little secondary prong, we're going to make it now. So row 6, we work 3 single crochet, and then a puff stitch into the next stitch. Now I'm going to be showing you how I make a puff stitch. If you do it a different way, your way is probably fine. So I yarn over, insert my hook into my stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. That leaves me with 3 loops on my hook. and I'm going to do that again, which brings me to 5, and again, which brings me to 7, and again, which brings me to 9. Now, sometimes I go again, which gets me to 11, but I honestly don't know if 9 or 11 is correct, but I'm going to be doing 9 loops today. So then I yarn over and just pull through all of my loops, and there is our tiny little puff stitch. And then I'm going to work 2 single crochet to get us back to the start of our round. And you should be careful to make sure that your puff stitch is puffing outwards, not inwards, because it's a little hard to like get in there and puff it outwards after we've moved on from this row. For row 7, we are going to work 6 single crochet around again. Then in row 8, we're going to work 5 single crochet. And then a 6th single crochet, changing to our main body color. There aren't a lot of color changes in this particular pattern, but I will show you how I do mine. So I insert my hook into the stitch and yarn over and bring up a loop of my existing color. I then hold that color out of the way, grab a strand of the color I'm changing to and pinch that on the inside of the stitch. That's a bit tricky on a little piece like this, but it is manageable. I then yarn over and pull through both loops, completing that stitch with my new color. It's a little bit of a loose wibbly wobbly stitch, and so we just tighten that by tugging on our old color. And that will leave you, with a finished single crochet in our old color, but our new color is now on our hook, ready to go. So in row 9, we're going to work 3 repeats of a single crochet and then a spike stitch. So single crochet speaks for itself. We'll just work one of those, but then a spike stitch is worked not by inserting our hook through the loops, but inserting our hook through the loops of the stitch in the previous row. So if you look, impossible because of this dark brown, I am so sorry. But if you look, the next stitch I would work into is this one here. We can see the loops at the top and then the square underneath, and we can still see the stitch that we worked that stitch into. So that is where I'm inserting my hook, yarning over and pulling up a loop, then yarning over and completing my spike stitch. So these stitches are non-structural, they are purely for decoration, so if you do not enjoy doing spike stitches, just work these as single crochet instead. So that is our first one, and we're going to do 2 more of those. So single crochet, spike stitch, single crochet, and then a spike stitch. So as you can see there, it gives you kind of like a slightly furry edge to your antler. We're then going to work just 6 single crochet around to lock that all in. And finish off. Once again, please note that I'm not stuffing this piece. And I'm not going to weave this opening closed, but I am just going to tuck all of these tails down inside. So there is our little antler. So there is your first little antler, and you are going to need 2 of them. Pop those to one side. Alrighty, so next up we're going to be making his front legs. Now keep in mind that these legs are shaped to be in a running or leaping kind of pose. They look a little bit odd compared to what you might be used to. We are going to start with a magic ring of 6 single crochet. It's the best foundation. I build so many things with that foundation. I just start feeling silly the 4th or 5th time I've had to say it in a video. We're then going to work 3 repeats of an increase, and then a single crochet. That's our first one. And that will get us up to 9 stitches in our round. We're then going to work 4 rows of 9 single crochet for a combined total of 36 stitches. Row 7 is then a single crochet, 3 increases, a single crochet, and then 2 decreases, which should leave your round with 10 stitches. That's kind of the tip of his little tippy tappy foot. In row 8, we're going to start with a decrease, 2 single crochet, 2 increases, 2 single crochet, and then a decrease. And then in row 9, we're going to work 10 single crochet around. We're then going to stuff our little paw just up to where our opening is, and then we're not going to add any stuffing after this point. Just like so, and then no more stuffing after then. In row 10, we start with 5 single crochet. Then 2 increases. Then 3 single crochet. Leaving you with 12 stitches. Row 11 is 12 single crochet around. Row 12 is then 2 increases, 3 single crochet, 2 decreases, and 3 single crochet back to the start of our round. And finally, row 13 is 2 repeats of 2 single crochet, 3 single crochet all into the same stitch, and then 3 single crochet. So that's our first repeat, and we're going to do that again. So 2 single crochet, 3 single crochet all into the same stitch, and then 3 single crochet. Finish off. We are going to leave this end open, and as I mentioned, we're only really stuffing up to about this point here. And I want you to make 2 of those. Pop those to one side. Okay, second last piece we have to make here is the back legs. So this is again one of those pieces you can choose to make with 2 colors, and I am today making it only with 1. So if you're making it a different color at the toe, start in your accent color and I will let you know when to change to your main color. Start with a magic ring of 6. Then we're going to work 2 repeats of a single crochet, 3 single crochet into the same stitch, and then a single crochet. That's 1, and we're going to do that again. That should leave you with 10 stitches in your round. We're then going to work 2 rows of 10 single crochet around for a combined total of 20 stitches. Then row 5 is 2 repeats of 2 single crochet, a decrease, and then a single crochet. So that's 1, and we're going to do that again. And if you're changing colors, change to your other color in the final stitch of this row. And that should leave you with 8 stitches in your round. We're then going to work 3 repeats of 8 single crochet around for a combined total of 24 stitches. See there, we've got the little foot worked up. In row 9, we are going to work 4 increases. And then 4 single crochet to get us back to our starting point. Row 10 is 3 single crochet, 2 increases, then 3 single crochet, and then 2 decreases. This should leave you with 12 stitches in your round. Row 11 is 4 single crochet. Two increases. Three single crochet. And then a single crochet, 3 together. 12 is 5 single crochet. 2 increases. And then 5 single crochet back to the start of our row. Row 13 is 6 single crochet. 2 increases. And then 6 single crochet back to the start of our round. We're going to stop and stuff the foot and just this starting part of the leg. So you can stuff this part quite firmly, but we're not going to add any more stuffing after this point. Row 14 is 2 repeats of an increase and then 7 single crochet. That's our first one, and we're going to do that again, which should bring our stitch count up to 18. Row 15 is 2 increases, 6 single crochet, two decreases, and then 6 single crochet back to the start of our round. So you should still have 18 stitches in your round, and we're then going to work 2 rows of 18 single crochet around for a combined total of 36 stitches. Row 18 is then 2 single crochet, a single crochet 3 together, 6 single crochet, single crochet 3 together, and then 4 single crochet, leaving you with 14 stitches in your round. Row 19 is a single crochet 3 together, 4 single crochet, single crochet 3 together, and then 3 single crochet back to the start of the row. And then finally, row 20 is 2 repeats of a single crochet 3 together and then 2 single crochet. That's 1 repeat and 2 repeats. Finish off. So we are going to be closing off the opening at the top of this leg now, same way we did for the body. So there is our little hind leg, and you do need to make 2 of those. Pop them to one side while we make our final piece. Okay, so the final piece is our puffy little tail here. So you're going to want to start in your tail color, which for me is white. And I've got this lovely new ball here, but then I did find this little scrap, so I'm going to try and use this first. Something I've learned along the way is that the length of my forearm from fingertip to elbow gives me enough yarn for 9 single crochet. I don't know, I'm sure you all have your tricks for that sort of thing. So, in our tail color, we are going to start with a magic ring. Now, one thing I will say is that on my original, I worked mostly in the back loops only, and I genuinely don't think it made any difference. So, this is one of there's a small handful of points during this pattern where I have changed something from the original, and this is one of them, because we're going to just simplify and work normal single crochet today. We're then going to work 6 increases around to bring our round total up to 12. Oh my goodness, I zoned out for a little bit there. Then row 3 is 6 repeats of a single crochet and then an increase to get us up to 18 stitches around. Row 4 is then 2 single crochet, 3 single crochet into the same stitch, and then 5 repeats of 2 single crochet and then an increase. So that's our first repeat, and we're going to do 4 more of those. So that should leave you with 25 stitches in your round. Row 5 is 3 single crochet, then 3 single crochet all into the same stitch, and then 21 single crochet back to the start of your row. So you should have 27 stitches in your row, and you should be able to tell that we've got a little bit of a point. That's obviously the top tip of the tail. So we are going to change colors in row 6, but we don't do it straight away. So we start by working 3 single crochet, and then we're going to single crochet 3 together. Then we're going to work 3 single crochet, changing back to our body color in the 3rd stitch. So that means 2 stitches of our white, and then our 3rd stitch is a color change, just like we did on those antlers. Then working once again in our body color, we're going to work 18 single crochet back to the start of our row. At this point, you can trim off your white. And in row 7, we're going to work 2 single crochet 3 together, 2 single crochet, and then 6 repeats of a single crochet and then a decrease. And finish off. Now this is fine the way that it is, or you can grab your metal brush and just brush the white part only, try to avoid the brown, until it is nice and fluffy. It's kind of the raw state of it, and then I just like to give mine a little bit of a trim. And there's our fuzzy little tail. So now we have all of our pieces made. The time has come to assemble our bunny. So I'm going to start with my front paws. So these only loosely need to go on the front of the body, and the opening of mine is lined up between row 17 and row 22, so that they're poking out towards the front. I'm just going to pin those in place. And then I'm going to pin the other one in the same place on the other side. So again, rows 17 to 22. Sitting so cutely. Patiently waiting. I think I've put his little mouth and nose up slightly too high where the cheeks are, and I think he's still cute. So I'm gonna leave it alone. Now, as mentioned, these legs are designed to be in a running pose, meaning that this one here points downwards so he's up on his toes. But I do just want to point out that if you rotate this around, it can easily be a little sitting bunny as well. It's just entirely up to you. Pin your back legs on in their chosen position as well, just on the back part of the body. Apparently I lined my originals up between row 21 and 26, but I'm literally not even counting for these ones. I've just slapped them on the back. Do the same thing on the other side. And then make sure your bunny stands up. So mine is slightly crooked, but otherwise okay. So there is my bunny in its runny position. And I'm going to take some of my brown and sew those pieces on now. So with that done, we are going to pin and sew our ears on. So we've already pinched them into 2 shapes, and to lock that shape in, you really just want to curve your base around a little bit and identify this corner here, which goes at the bottom of your ear. And you want to pin them to roughly row 10 to 12 of the head. So it's quite far back, but again, that's because our bunny is running away, and you want them basically in line with the eye. So there's one, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So there are the ears, and we're just going to sew those on now. Oh, focus, like so. Cute little bun bun. And then we're going to attach the tail, just so that anyone just after the bunny pattern doesn't have to sit through the antlers. So I'm going to take a little bit of stuffing and just stuff this tail as well, just to help it hold its shape. Then we're just going to pin and sew that over the butt, about there. I might move mine slightly lower than that. That's seeming a little bit high for me. So sew that on. And then the final step to take us from Runny Bunny to Jackalope is we take our little antlers, and if you created the ones with the extra prong, keep in mind that we want that prong to face outwards. We're just going to pin them kind of like an eyebrow, just in front of each of the ears, over the top of the eyes. And then just sew those on as well. And there is your finished jackalope. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Okay, bye.